because I don't feel like Jelly's probably up to par to be able to take out Method NA just yet.
Yeah, for sure, a bit of a frustrating position to be in when you're up against your toughest opponent. You don't quite have the answers, but we don't know yet. Maybe Golden Guardians pulls off something we haven't seen before from them. Like Sid already mentioned, they did do, try out some different specs, make some adaptations in the circuit. I mean, they did make it here into the top 4, so maybe they'll pull off something unexpected to try and get a win off of Method NA. It is game number 1 on the Grand Arena.
All right. I mean, we talked about all the surprises Method NA had, and then this is just same old for both of these teams who got Method NA locking in their bread and butter composition. This is the comp that brought them to the top and kept them there. And Golden Guardians, Peekaboo, WizK, Avsurge, the classic RPS. 2 Titan teams doing battle here in North America, but I will say I'll give a slight edge to Method NA in this blind pick.
Yeah, I think for Method NA, things are looking pretty good, but it is the Golden Guardians RPS. Anything can happen when these guys are in the arena, and we're going to see exactly how they decide to open up. Zerarium already got combat for his team, so Peekaboo will not be able to find a sap onto anything. And it looks like Peekaboo actually wants to go after the mage here. Goes for a big kidney shot immediately from stealth here, and they're going to get a hex there actually onto Drake. So the plan is to cover the hex there with kidney shot onto the mage, since he's the one who can dispel it. So they want to go after the mage and just spam CC the Windwalker as much as possible and see if they can pressure down the mage. They get the blind on the brain. He trinkets out of that one. And so far, their strategy is working. The mages are pretty tanky. And now WizK takes a big hit.
Oh, no.
Right
Bone
there. Drake's now. Oh, here we go. Oh, no. Oh, my God. WizK almost gets dusted immediately here. App's just going to have to trinket, trade Spirit Link, Ascendance. Actually, he didn't use Spirit Link, but he might have to. And there it is. Okay, that was the last cooldown. And it's overlap with Dispersion. All right, there's about one more setup left for Golden Guardians to lose this one, Sid.
Yeah, WizK, you did your best here, but I think the next spinning crane kick proc here probably lights out for WizK. Peekaboo's crowd control. Ring of Peace knocks WizK into line of sight of Cerealium. Here comes the spinning crane kick of death. And Method NA close it out off the back of a Ring of Peace.
That was beautiful. That was, you don't see setups like that very often. I mean, Drake expertly drops the Ring of Peace, separating Avsurge and WizK. While they're in the air, Drake gets the paralyze, the incapacitate on the shaman, and then a Hammer of Justice comes in. I mean, that was just so beautifully set up by Method NA, and this is why this team is on top in North America. That was just such a beautiful setup.
Yeah, so they got a trinket for blind that game, and Method NA got a spell book and a Dead Shadow Priest. That was, I just want to, I never want to see Drake. Like Drake, he's good on his like rogue and his little alts that he plays and his warrior and everything. But I mean, look at Drake on the monk, man. Like, look what happens to WizK here. This is right before the action. So they get the blind onto Brain. They got a little bit of pressure on Cerealium. Everything's looking good. Then they get a sheep onto Peekaboo, and then Drake just immediately gets insane amounts of damage. Then he lands a kick, and one proc with the spinning crane kick almost deletes him. Then he stuns Avsurge. Avsurge trinkets out, tries to keep him alive, just spam healing with Ascendance. One more spinning crane kick. They overlap Dispersion. And overlap. Yeah, I mean, that's your last cooldown. So if you overlap there, it's pretty much just over. WizK has Trinket, but he doesn't even have Fade to work with right now. So the defense is limited at this point. And then then, you know, you walk us through that setup. You seemed really impressed by it.
I was. Look
Look at the ring.
All right, look at this. Look at the Drake, okay? He's going to use Ring of Peace. I mean, you just don't see it coordinated this much. I mean, Avsurge can dispel the Hammer of Justice while they're all grouped up. But Drake, he drops the Ring of Peace, bouncing Avsurge away from WizK. Brain moves in for a hammer. Look at this. There, the separation, and WizK's isolated. I mean, that's just so great to see. I mean, WizK, he even trinkets, but the Shackle of Malediction from Brain is just too much. There's nothing Golden Guardians can do in that setup. And Method NA takes a clean game number 1. And I feel like if we keep seeing this matchup play out, that's going to be a 3-0 for Method NA. So I really feel like Golden Guardians, they got to mix it up, but I just don't know if they have a better answer. Because it just seems like Windwalker Monk sitting on a Shadow Priest, it's only a matter of time before you just get deleted by a spinning crane kick.
Especially when it's Drake. on that Windwalker. Very scary thing. Are you gonna try and adapt that on Ven Fuki, Ven?
Try to adapt what?
Try and do that play.
I mean, you try, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But a lot of it the thing that impressed me about it the most, it wasn't necessarily, he separated them with Ring of Peace, but it's just the fact that they just executed so well as a team. The capitalization on the Hammer of Justice while he's out of line of sight, so there's no chance he gets dispelled. At the same time, he gets paralyzed. It's just really, really clean setup as a whole team, and I think that's what impressed me the most.
Yeah, really clean game from them. Golden Guardians obviously looking to bounce back. We've got a full draft as well already. Smile on Drake's face. We don't normally see much emotion from him. He's a very, very serious guy generally, but it looks like he's having a good time. So I think that means that Method NA Zico is super confident here in this series.
Yeah, we're all having a good time when we see the Shadow Priest, and we're watching a monk do what he does, and even Drake, like, letting out a little smile there. He knows what's about to happen here. He's already licking his lips, rubbing his hands together, and he's exactly thinking about how he's gonna set that up. And I mean, for the Golden Guardians, I mean, they could have done a few things better, right? But I think the most interesting thing was their strategy. They decided to go after the mage. That's not something that's like very typical in this matchup. Usually, you just try to spam hex the mage as much as possible, and you go after the Windwalker. But usually they lose when they do that. So I like that they're trying something new here. I'm not sure if they could have gotten like a bit more pressure on the mage somehow, or what they could have exactly done differently, aside from the obvious, like with the defensive overlaps. But maybe it's a strategy that looks better the longer the game goes on. So it's got to sting a little bit for them as well. Like, they were trying out this new target, and they didn't really get a good feel for the matchup, or they got dusted. So let's see if they decide to go with that same strategy, or if they go to a little bit more standard, which is usually just having Peekaboo go after Drake a lot, and then sometimes splitting on the healer.
All right, here we go. Game's about to start. Game number 2. Golden Guardians are sticking to their bread and butter. They need to ride the Shadow Priest Rogue Shaman train here, but Method NA look clean and play with precision, completely removing all options from the Golden Guardians. They can't afford any missteps, but they face down probably the hardest hitting spinning crane kick in the game right now from Drake, and they're going to switch their strategy, go after the Windwalker Monk, try and keep pressure onto Drake and keep him away from WizK as much as possible. But if they stack up, they're going to get double leg swept. They could even get double spinning crane kicked. So this is going to be still quite a gamble to go after the Windwalker Monk. Drake is pushing in aggressively on top of both WizK and Absterge. Brain gets blinded as Peekaboo tries to set up, but he's caught in a leg sweep. And Peekaboo looks like he wants to sap, but he gets Dragon's Breath. He's not going to get the sap. Oh, he gets it still. He wasn't able to get in line of sight to get combat. Now Drake could be in trouble. Trades out the Trinket Karma, trying to bust through and just kill WizK while on the back foot. Fist of Fury flying. They fear all of the pets and the Fist of Fury. Great Psychic Scream. Drake on the back foot still. Brain in a silence. Drake trying to get back to his healer, but Absterge is right on top of him. Huge heal comes out from Brain. Drake stabilizes. Is this spinning crane kick coming? He interrupts the Master Spell on the crowd control. Drake still in a kidney shot. Nice peel. Another Master Spell attempt in the future, but Shackles of Malediction. WizK's isolated. Another polymorph. What? Dispersion's getting fully absorbed by the Malediction. He's waiting for it to fade, but Cerulean blinks in line of sight, and they have to drop a Spirit Link, and they've overlapped every single cooldown again here. Method NA, it's just total domination. If Peekaboo doesn't kill Drake in this next kidney shot with maybe a smoke bomb, this is literally, they just have to pray. WizK needs to run 80 yards away. He needs to run 80 yards away. Pray that Drake is like, la-di-da-di-da, I'm going to run 100 yards into you and get stunned into a smoke bomb, because if that doesn't happen, I don't think victory is.
Yeah, well, the Drake, he's got Bone Dust Brew available. He's about to turn WizK into ashes here. A massive amount of damage potential. There's no trinket on Absterge. There's no trinket on WizK. All we need is one clean setup. All we need is a polymorph. There's the double leg sweep. Do they have the damage to take him down? Huge spinning crane kick.
What?
Once again, WizK does manage to stay alive. Unexpected a little bit. They didn't have the damage to fully capitalize on that situation. Eventually even rushing the go, but Method NA still have so much pressure. WizK is just going to be running away. He's got the Greater Fade. He's got Dispersion, but Drake's still all over him. Big Fist of Fury. Let's see, is there any more damage? Nice interrupt there. Drake is just nailing these interrupts. That's not an easy thing to do. WizK could go down and gets Ring of Peace away once again. And Method NA take a clean game number 2.
I really hope we see on the replay just all of that. Like Drake, he just tab targeted to Whiskey at one point and just did one like big rising sun kick, and it was just everything. It was right before the dispersion. It's insane how much damage this monk is doing. It's crazy. Like and also the interrupt there on the master spell right at the end, the improved master spell. He gets the kick on it, and that's why they have enough CC to actually land the kill, because it allows the Ring of Frost to actually stay on his on the healer. So these guys are just playing out of their mind. So this was actually right after Drake completely decimated Whiskey, and they got almost all their cooldowns, and they absorbed pretty much the entire dispersion as well. And then here, they're starting to set up the damage. Drake, he's starting to grind up here. He's got the Bone Dust available as well. Master Spell comes in. He gets immediately Blessing of Protection on the kidney right there. And then here they almost drop Whiskey. I think it's the defensive smoke bomb that actually allows him to survive there. And of course, Absterge also gets the pre-earthen, yeah. So Whiskey barely hangs on there. And the only thing he has to work with right now is his Fade. So he gets his Goblin Ratio, and then here double Dragon's Breath, double Ring of Frost. Look at his kick right now by Drake, right there. Beautiful kick by Drake. And then here he just gets so much damage. He drops the heal as well with the Ring of Peace. Touch of Death comes through, and there's just nothing Whiskey can do. Anything he's trying to MD, he gets kicked. He tries to heal, he gets stopped. He tries to do anything, he just dies. So it's time to get that Shadow Priest out and bring in the Jelly Beans. That's where I'm standing right now. I don't know about you guys.
Bring out the beans.
Bring out the beans. No, I'm with you. I would love to see Jelly Beans come out. Do you think if we do see him, he'll be on his Hunter, or is something else new that we've seen him play this season?
I don't see Hunter Shadow Priest. I want to see Hunter Shadow Priest.
I don't want to see a Shadow Priest. The Shadow Priest is just dead as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What against this?
I
don't take it back,
man. I want to see it.
I thought you meant like as a spec.
No, Shadow Priest is incredible, but against this, it's not. It's going to be a struggle for them.
Yeah.
Drake, once again, he got a big smile on his face. I just don't think. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't think they could play alts against Method NA and win. I think their comp is too well rounded. I think they're too good. I think unless you're a world class player, you're not going to beat them on any kind of alt. You have to be the best at your class in order to win. You have to put in hundreds of hours of practice. Otherwise, you're going to get dismantled. And this is why Golden Guardians finds himself in such a difficult position, because their main composition, the one they have most practice, is kind of just getting owned. And I don't know if they have a better option. Unfortunately, they could try Jelly Beans on Mage, but
bring out the beans.
You're gonna put Jelly Beans on Mage against Ceruleum? Is that wise? I feel like it might not be.
But make your case for bringing out beans, then, Supatis.
I just want to see Hunter Rogue or Hunter Shadow Priest. I'd want Jelly Beans in the game. Maybe Hunter Rogue. I just want to see anything other than what we've seen. Like the Rogue Shadow Priest is just, literally, I feel like I'm watching the same game happen. Link and Dispersion at the exact same second at the same time every time. And okay, Peekaboo's coming in on Windwalker Monk, but the Shadow Priest is still there. We're still running with the rest of Shaman as well. This is not what I was expecting from the Gold. I was never expecting this. I mean, you got to fight fire with fire. You got to fight spinning crane kicks with spinning crane kicks. I guess maybe it's the logic here for the Golden Guardians. But I feel like Ceruleum has so much practice against monks that Peekaboo might have literally the worst game of his life.
This is what I think too. I mean, if you're a good fire mage, you can dismantle Windwalker Monk. You can Nova his images. You can Dragon's Breath during his spins. Like, you can just shimmer away. There's lots of different things that you can do. And I mean, I guess Golden Guardians, they just need to try something else. I mean, obviously what they were doing wasn't working, but I fear that this could be an even worse matchup. No, I really mean it. I feel like this could actually go worse somehow. Hopefully not.
The way I look at it is like, at least with the Rogue, you have consistent lockdown on the Monk, like every time you have Kidney. But with the Monk, I guess you have the Paralyze and you have Leg Sweep, but you don't use those offensively. I feel like you won't really land kills. So Peekaboo only playing that with 0% win rate Windwalker right now. Played one game on it before this in competitive. I'm not sure Like I feel like this is, they're just trying something. They're just kind of throwing it and seeing what sticks. But I'm not sure about this one. I feel like the Windwalker is just going to give less protection actually to Whiskey.
Come on, guys, do it for Mariah. Let's get a victory.
They're gonna need her to carry their team.
Oh man. Okay, well, let's see. This is their last chance here. If you are a fan of the move, give these guys your hype because they're really close to being dropped down to that lower bracket. Not a position they want to be on early on in the tournament. Method NA 1 victory away from a 3-0 sweep.
Who's going to get dusted first here as Peekaboo substitutes onto a Windwalker Monk, only with one other game played in tournament play this year. This is his second game. He faces Drake, who has won cup after cup, tournament after tournament on Windwalker Monk, running their main composition. And every time I look at Whiskey, I'm like, is he dead? Like, even if he's at full HP, I'm just watching Drake, waiting for that spinning crane kick to see if it connects onto Whiskey. We see a Ring of Peace defensively, denying some pressure onto Whiskey here as they set up pressure onto Ceralium. Abster just mashing out purges. Abster just going all out aggression here on Ceralium. It's really putting him on the back foot at the moment with a Mind Bomb onto Brain. Ceralium blinks behind the pillar, but he's at 10% out of line of sight of Brain. Brain's trying to get some heals out, goes for Divine Toll, and manages to get Ceralium reasonably stable. But there is at least decent pressure coming out from the Golden Guardians here.
Yeah, it's not looking too bad so far. WizK at the same time. Now it's time for them to get aggressive. Hammer of Justice on Abster. What is WizK going to do? Big pressure here by Drake. This is when the Tiger, this is Storm, Earth, and Fire, paralyzed now onto Brain as Peekaboo continues to push here onto Ceralium. Let's see what he can get done. Big alter time by Ceralium. Goes to 10% health to full health. That was excellently done. And at the same time, WizK is just getting smashed. Ceralium doing a good job kiting so far. Double X suit coming in from Drake. Excellent teamwork. Can they get a polymorph? No, they can't, but they get the Spirit Link with just raw pressure. Absence wasn't even in crowd control, but he's forced to trade up the Spirit Link. And this is just looking like a scary matchup for Golden Guardians once again.
Absturge, no big cooldowns to work with. He only has his trinket, really. He gets a hex here onto Drake, but Ceralium can just remove that, and he does. Double X sweep coming out from Peekaboo. Big damage here, big pressure coming out with Siphene. Ceralium dropping kind of low, but Brain is there in the backline, out of crowd control. Fleshcraft coming out here from Absturge. Now we're going to see WizK. No dispersion, no trinket, and he's going to have that greater fade. But he gets stunned. There's the paralyze. Here comes the setup, and there's the KO. Absolutely gets crushed. That was another excellent setup there from Method, and they just waited. It was 1 second left before the greater fade was coming off CD. They land a Hammer of Justice, they land a Paralyze, they dust him. Drake fires off a big old smile, and they advance to the next series.
I mean,
It's a Tasmanian Devil. Just the spinning crane kick with the Bone Dust Brew. I mean, they're basically what the rinse repeat setups we've seen. I mean, yeah, it's just a Paralyze with a Hammer of Justice. Paralyze the Shaman, Hammer of Justice, Bone Dust Brew, spinning crane kick, and you'll just see the Shadow Priest health just melt. It just melts away. And Method NA, this is a really clean series from them.